Hello and welcome everyone. This is Eimear Stassin here, and I am here with Annemiek van Helsdingen, founder of the Academy for Soul-Based Coaching. I hope I've said your name right.
You do. Every time I'm like so impressed. I know it's an impossible name in the international domain. So
I've known you for so many years. I just feel it rolls off the tongue. And today we're going to be exploring in conversation around how soul-based coaching has really helped me, helped us and clients return to my inner power and what that is for us. So yeah, would you like to share a little bit about yourself, Annemiek?
yes. Oh gosh. This path. I'm first of all delighted to be here. I love having a chat with you, Emer. And yeah, this path has been such a rich, nourishing, multi-layered path for me too. So in the I think it's like going on 25 years now that I'm coaching. Starting off in a very traditional, masculine paradigm approach. And then, looking at where I've gotten to now, it's like, pinch me, I'm dreaming kind of. Can't believe this is my work. And it's not that, everything comes flying by easily. It's still something that I put effort in, and it's something, it's I work towards that. But the actual process of coaching and the process of my own unfolding has become like so much more joyful and easeful over the years. Yeah, so I'm very happy that we're having this conversation today.
Yeah, and I feel like childishly just going pinch, if I was beside you. Yeah, isn't that just gorgeous? How like pinch me, this is your work and all that you've helped people
Yeah,
be and do.
well, and that too, it's like um the people that haven't followed me or seen me around for a while might know this, but I'm not the kind of person who goes like, oh, look at me, I'm so fabulous. But it feels like, this work is so important. It's so valuable and powerful. And so, seeing that, having that, ripple out over like 22 and more countries and like touching thousands of lives by now, that's like, that's another pinch me moment. But it's a different kind of pinch me. It's kind of like the well, okay. That happens too. It's kind of cool, but it's really not why we're doing this. Yeah, so
Yeah.
grateful. I think that's the word most of all. Grateful that that there's a different way of being, that there's a different way of showing up in the world, having impact, like having real impact for people's lives, um, like you, right? Like your journey. I love it. I love, what's been unfolding for you, through you in the last couple of years, and just seeing, the incredible transformation that's happened for you in the way that you're now able to show up and support people. It's like in your unique, beautiful way. It's like ah, so beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I'm just thinking like hashtag pinch me as like the new aspect, and how international you are and have become in 22 countries, because that's certainly something that excites me. It excited me when I was taking the soul-based coaching training back in 2017, how global, how we can connect so intimately in this way on Zoom and be in our spaces around the world and connect culturally, energetically, and through the work that is so powerful as well. And
Absolutely. It's just
yeah,
as we were reflecting how it's something that really unites the people that are in our community. It's like this love of like traveling, different cultures, different ways of being. And it's like no matter if that's something that you actually do in the world or have done, or whether this is something that is just happening within people. But so many of us have like lived abroad or like or married someone who's not from our own nationality, or like it's really interesting to kind of see that. But there's a curiosity about, ooh, so how does this work for you? That kind of drives through this work, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I've often viewed this way of coaching as being, while we're connecting externally with the travel aspect, it's also an inner travel journey
Mm.
where we go on the most amazing adventures, crazy, magical, moving adventures within us from here that are amazingly transformational and magical in
Yeah.
what we then birth and who we are in the world.
Yes, oh, absolutely. The magic in the coaching journey is like unparalleled. I think you once called it like it's like shamanic journeying
Yeah.
within coaching, and it is very much like that. Um, but would you want to share a little bit about your journey, Eimear, about how that journey towards your inner power, how has unfolded for you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. When you were sharing your background, I too come from a masculine background, corporate background, and achieving, getting the certificate, getting the results. And back, and I was studying NLP, actually, neuro linguistic programming, when I came across clean language, which is something we use in soul-based coaching. And it was instantly this fire. We're at the time coming up to Bealtaine now, where it's like the fire festival of the May season. And it was like this fire going through me, like, whoa, what is this way of asking questions? It was so different to anything I'd experienced, because it has to be this experience within me before. And I'd been qualified as a corporate coach and all of the other things, this felt so different. It really was an inner felt sense that I hadn't connected with for a long, long time. So that set me on a journey of just being curious to see, oh, how else could I learn about this way of asking questions? And I came across you online and knew instantly I was going to sign up and take this year-long certification program. And yeah, that's been my journey, which paralleled with me choosing to step out of the corporate world and into entrepreneurship, which is where I've been for the last 4 years. And yeah, in a nutshell, it's been we explore things metaphorically in soul-based coaching, which is part of the magical shamanic aspect. And a metaphor for me that continues is around gathering people around the bonfire of possibility. So bringing the fire in to support us in a nourishing way. And my bonfire was always at the edge of the ocean. And I always wanted to go out into the ocean. It was always about moving out, further out, exploring. But something was saying, oh, stay here by the fire. I'm going, no, there's no people here. Why do I want to stay here all on my own? And then I realized, well, I have to invite people in to join me around this bonfire to support others as well in this journey within. As I return to my power more and more, I too can help others do the same. And actually, that was really a recent realization, for me, with work that I'd been doing over the last few years. So
Mm.
that's like, in a nutshell, part of the journey of where I am today.
Yeah, and and that's kind of like what it looked like in a practical sense. So going from that corporate coaching and training, and then stepping into entrepreneurship, and now, of course, weaving your Celtic mystical background together with this journey of healing and exploration, and coaching. But there's, I think, when I look at you and when I think about how who you were when you entered, when we first met, when you entered the program, and then who you are now, Like that's for me is like worlds apart. When you say, I mean, it's still very much Eimear, you know, you're still very much the same in the sense of your humor and your like your quirkiness and like your incredible heart, and all of these things are the same, but yet there's a lot in you that has shifted. That feels like it's, you know, it's been an amazing change to witness.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. There's some video footage. I was looking through some of my recordings from back then, a few years ago when I first started at the Academy. And I look at myself and do kind of cringe. Like, oh, come on, Eimear, just loosen up, let the mask off, take it off, you don't need this mask anymore, or these many masks that I was wearing, and just relax. So I look at myself back then and now, and I feel like a kinder person. Maybe I'll ask my family to they're the best for honest feedback. And softer like the inside of a tree, that gorgeous soft bark on the inside, that's soft and smooth and just so full of potential. And that's what I feel like, and that I you know yeah, I don't have to pretend anymore. I can be more and more truthful as I connect more and more with that truth within me.
Yeah, and that radiates out so visibly, right? It is really, and I think this is such a beautiful example of how the soul-based coaching work helps people to connect with that inner truth within them. And for you, this is what that means and what that looks like. And for someone else, it means something different. And there is no there's no cookie cutter kind of like, oh, it has to look like this, or you have to do that, or you should be doing this. But there's this, we often talk about midwifing, right? Midwifing change for our clients. And I think that is such a beautiful example of it. Like I was part of the midwifing of your becoming. And of course, that is an ongoing unfolding. And it is like, it's so it's so awe-inspiring, so humbling, so much fun, and there's like a pride, but not like the mommy pride, like not the I created this. No, not at all. It's like a um, you know one of our family is like doing beautiful things in the world. That kind of pride, like one of our, yeah, it's like one of our community is like shining so brightly and so beautifully. And that's kind of the extra, like when we do this work, it's like we get to and rejoice really with the people that we work with.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and inspire each other. So as each one of us are, I think a lot of people in my class anyway, in the soul-based coaching class, were entrepreneurs, are entrepreneurs, and how we then integrate or weave in all that we've learned as becoming soul-based coaches into our other work. For some, it is soul-based coaching. For others, it's other aspects of what they already do. So we inspire each other in how that weaves together. And of course, I find it's woven so powerfully. I was going to say tightly, but it's not tightly. It's just woven so magically and powerfully into all that I do now. It's like we're no longer separate aspects. It is part of the fabric of who I am now and what I share and offer to people. So whether that is one-to-one soul-based coaching, whether that is mentorship, whether that is training in how to reconnect with your roots, soul-based coaching, the questions, holding space, connecting with our softness, our yin, our feminine, it all comes in to it.
Yeah, and that's such a beautiful thing. I mean, both the aspect of community and the way that it is, it's possible to do that, be on this journey together and not just look at, oh, but she is, or but he is and I'm not, or like all of that. Of course, everyone has these voices and it's part of the stuff to work with. But there is a really supportive and nourishing, lifting each other up happening at the same time, which is really, for me, that is a very countercultural thing that is so great, gratefully welcome. Anyway, it comes with the territory, right? It is, we cannot do that, and we cannot do our work and not be totally inclusive and celebratory of all the beauty that humans hold. And then there's the other thing that you mentioned, that is that opening into yin. I think that, Eimear, has been such a key part of your journey, hasn't it? I mean, it's the same for me, right? Let's be very, very clear here. I'm just, in that sense, I'm very much one of the pack and one of the family. Yeah. Could your corporate you have imagined what you're doing today and what you're emailing people about, or putting summits out with, or could they ever have kind of known about this and not run away?
No, I'm like, no way, no absolutely way. If I had thought 4 years ago, when I'm thinking I'm just going to leave my job and step out because I know I'm feeling the call of the wild is drawing me out. I don't know what it is, but I know I have to go and heed that call. And I just thought I'd be doing the same as what I was doing in corporate, just my way, kind of facetiously, arrogantly, that I could do it that way. And yes, I could have done that. And I did at the start, kind of replicate what I was doing in corporate until my soul just kept going, no. So if I'd been told now that I'd be doing summits about healing the witch wound and exploring the feminine and what that means, and myself writing about aspects of myself and sharing that with people, supporting others as well and connecting with people around the world, no way. I would not. And I do, it's another pinch me moment. I do, and returning to my roots as well, my Celtic roots, that had been a compartment of its own, that was over here.
Yeah.
that didn't form part of any of my work. This
Wow.
being Irish malarkey, it was not part of anything I did. So yeah, I would have laughed. I would have gone, no way. I'm not going to be doing that and, making a living from that as well.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like, and I think this is something that is so it's actually, it's a conversation that I often have with people who think like, oh, maybe this work is for me, and it's like, but what will it look like, or how will it kind of come together, how will I apply this? And it's like, my answer now is, well, I can give you some examples of how it's come together for others. However, what I've also seen is that for most people, they go in with a certain idea. There's a pull, like with you, there's like a call, like this is speaking to me. And then it's like an unfolding that happens from there. It's where you are actually on that soul journey, which isn't about something that we can, make a plan for and then kind of like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do and this is what it's going to look like. For most of the time anyway, for some people it does, but for most people it really is an unfolding that goes into it's like you can only find out by going on the journey. And it is that it's kind of where the process starts. Like that decision to jump into that kind of I'm not entirely sure, but I really feel this really strongly, this is for me. And it's like, you know what I mean, it's like the essence of making changes in the most powerful way and co-creating with that mystery of life that we talk about. That starts to happen as soon as we kind of hit the road, as soon as that first decision is being made, or maybe even in that process of making that decision. And it's such a different way, right, from what we're used to. It's like what you were saying earlier. It's like, yes, there's this training. I think I'm going to go out into the wild. There's this call. There's this training. I want this certification, and then I'm going to do this, this, and this, and that's going to be it. But now, ooh, there's like, oh, woman, there's like so much more spark and richness and depth and spaciousness. I love what you said earlier about the masks that have fallen away. That's like all of this wealth has been created because you surrendered into the journey and let yourself be traveled and journeyed.
Yeah. And it's that what I'm realizing nowadays is that it's the commitment, as you were saying, you take the step. It's that, I guess, our soul wants to know that we are going to commit. We're going to take this step, we're going to commit. And what I've learned from you is that yin, infusing everything I do with that yin, feminine, flowing magic. And also we need the container, we need the structure. And even this is forming part of how I structure, well, coaching, yes, and programs, ideas that come to me. Where in the past I might have gone, that's just another silly idea. You're not going to take people on a journey telling stories. Like, come on, that's not a business idea. And I can create the structure and then let the ideas flow. So let the yin in, as I've learned from you, so that the ideas can flow and it can feel very alive and right for the group, for others who say yes as well. And what I'm seeing for myself time and time again, especially over the last year, being in lockdown with everything else that's going on, once I make that commitment and say yes and create even a one-page mind map of structure around an idea, then the ideas start coming as to how that can be something to offer to others. So it's kind of it's a different way for me anyway, a different way of doing business and creating and earning a living.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah. And how much more easeful is it, right? When we can allow that inspiration to journey us and to allow that to come in and then find its ways. Yeah.
Yeah, because inspiration's everywhere. Everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Unless we're too busy thinking about what isn't here yet or what should be happening, or like, so it's like if we're so busy in our minds, then we can quite easily miss those bits of inspiration that are popping up. But now that and this is like the things that really have gotten you to your inner Wonder Woman, right? Is what we were talking about.
My t-shirt.
Such a gorgeous metaphor of the hidden Wonder Woman that has come out. It's like,
should I take off? Should I?
Yeah. Let's all witness Eimear's becoming. It's like such a gorgeous metaphorical moment. Right.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly. We thought she was just another woman, as if they exist. But hey, but actually, this is her. Yeah. Wonder Woman. You should hand out t-shirts to people, just so that they can start wearing them at some point.
Yes.
Oh, but Eimear, like, if you were to kind of say, what have been your like key tools or ways that you have reconnected to that inner power?
So very straight away is that trust, returning, because it is all a returning for me to trusting my intuition. And as you had just said, having that space, creating that space to notice and to acknowledge those ideas that are I feel are bubbling up from my soul, from my womb. And another aspect is reconnecting with my roots, my native roots, my Irish roots, rather than shunning them as I was in some ways. So reconnecting with your roots in whatever way, form they are.
Mm.
Yeah, and I guess the third part is knowing that as I sink deeper into my power, that I can choose my story now. I can rewrite aspects of my story that don't feel aligned anymore. So I can let aspects go and then rewrite the story anew of what wants to emerge and unfold.
Yeah, gosh, and each one of those is like a book in itself. I know that from being party to your journey. Um, so just to be like super obvious about it, how much of a role has soul-based coaching played in that for you in these steps, in these parts?
It's a huge part in the trusting, in the rewriting, and in the reconnecting with my roots. It's all been part of the journey. And I do wonder where I would be now if I hadn't met you and soul-based coaching and clean language. But
Mm.
that doesn't cross that doesn't cross my mind very often, but I do sometimes wonder
That
because
would be fun to look into the parallel universes, wouldn't it?
yeah, it's just the ease. It takes the pressure off. And yeah, because I can be the expert and I'm not the expert. It's both. I can be
Yeah.
both.
You can be the
And
expert and the midwife at the same time, right? Yeah.
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 And even a client recently emailed me after a session and said, "You are my soul doula." That was just last week. So that's just gorgeous.
Yeah. What does that make you feel in terms of the impact that you're not now having on your clients' lives?
Oh, it's emotional, it's moving. And yeah, that goes beyond words very often because it's just like, okay, I'm receiving this and I'm just doing my job. It's all of this. It's humbling,
Yeah.
And I know this is part of my soul path to help others. And first I had to help myself.
Yeah. That's so much part of the journey, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
It
beautiful.
continues. It continues. And so it's incredibly humbling work.
Yes. Gosh, it's so beautiful to witness you and your journey, but and at the same time, we see this for everyone, kind of
Mm.
who steps into this role, into this power. If this is, if that midwifing change is something that speaks to people, then this is something that we see unfolding, for everyone in their own unique way, and having that impact that you're meant to have. It's like I hear this often from people, and I know this from myself as well. It's like this nagging kind of, like, sometimes it's even in the back of the mind, and sometimes it's like very much in the front of the awareness, like yeah, you're doing these things, or it's like, yeah, but there's something else. There's something else that's calling. There's something else that you should be doing. You should be maybe doing more, but not in the like you have to do more. But there is more potential, more possibility, more impact waiting. That is like that's yours. That's your birthright. That is your role, and it's not necessarily an ego. Like, there is more, but there is like there's a part of you that isn't lived, that isn't yet expressed and brought into the world, and that's the birthright, like being completely fully who you are. And so that is the piece, like that's something that many people are feeling when they right before they say yes to working with soul-based coaching or to step into these trainings. And so this is why and yeah, I'm super happy share that we have a really beautiful free training coming up. So what do you think? Is this a good moment to talk about that, Eimear?
Yes, absolutely. Would you like to share about what's coming up for you, Annemiek?
I would.
The Academy.
Yeah, we do. So we do have a training, like a free 5-day training coming up about how to midwife soul-based magic and have that impact that you know you're meant to have. And so it is, we're putting this together as an experiential training. So it's not just something that, you know, engages your ideas and your mind, but really gives you a chance to feel into that deepening and into that opening, and to knowing where you can start to find more of that trust and more of those roots that Eimear was talking about. And so we're going to look at, you know, how you can help people's natural changes accelerate by helping them tap into that soul knowing, right? Because everyone has the capacity to change, right? We all do it every day of our lives. But how can we accelerate the changes that people want? We're going to really look at how can you untangle yourself from like cookie cutter approaches to change, so that you can start to be in that co-creation with the mystery of life, right? There's like, if you're here with Eimear, you know about the mystery that speaks through story, through myth. That also happens in shamanic journeying. Like, how can we start to co-create with that rather than, you know, make it do our will, which, you know, of course doesn't really work without like losing masses of energy. And then also what we're going to do is to really help unleash your clients' inner wisdom. And, you know, if you don't have clients yet, that's no problem. It's like people that you want to support, they have this innate wisdom that is usually hiding in that like 96% of our subconscious mind. And it's like, how can you help people tap into that? Because there's like a treasure trove of resources and information like hidden inside each and every one of us. And so it's like, we're going to give you the keys to start exploring that with people, for people, and being that midwife. So making that change possible rather than being the one who has to do it for the client in any shape or form. So if any of that feels good, then we very warmly invite you to join in. And I very much look forward to seeing you there with us.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the links will be below this video.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Eimear was going to be there too. Is that right, Eimear?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when you said giving you the keys, that just went tingle for me. Yeah, the key to unlocking all that amazing magic and possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like, I really wish everyone could just know how to do this, because our world would look so much differently if we did.
Yeah.
So very happy to be able to share.
That's like that makes me go bing, another conversation.
What if the world knew about this magic and could use it for the good? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Gorgeous. Well, it's been so wonderful speaking with you, Annemiek.
Oh, likewise.
And sharing this. And yeah, all the links will be below in this video. And any questions, ask me or Annemiek. And join this free training. It's such a gift. 5 days of beautiful yin magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, can't wait to see what will unfold there. And I'm sure that we'll be talking again. Because, you know, there's something I often write in my emails, I often write like, hey, gorgeous. And it's just because when people tap into their soul knowing, when they tap into that, like their own gifts, it's like there's like this sense of fulfillment and sparkle and nourishment that starts to happen, which means that it's so good to be around them. And you have that going, Eimear. So I always so look forward to hanging out with you.
Thank you so much. And likewise as well. And yeah, I was going to say, I now, just for, the practicality of life as an entrepreneur now, is that I will be shortly connecting with a client in Australia. So from the UK to Australia in relation to soul-based coaching. So this is the work in everyday life. And I'm just so happy to have received your sparkles and to be able to sparkle myself as well.
Yeah, gorgeous. All right. Until we meet again, Eimear.
Yes, until we meet again, and everyone watching. Yeah, see you all again soon.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.